Hit squad activity became widespread in KwaZulu and Natal during the 1990s. It would appear that the hit squad operations undertaken by the Caprivi trainee and other political networks were predominantly supportive of the IFP, drawing in officials of the KwaZulu government and police force, as well as senior politicians and leaders of the party. As such, hit squad members had access to KwaZulu government resources, such as vehicles, arms, and ammunition. A measure of protection from persecution was gained through collusion of the KZP and the SEP with the activities of the hit squad network. The killing of two activists in New Hanover in 1990 and the case of the eSekhawini-based hit squad led by Brian Gcina Mkhize provided two examples of the operation of the main hit squad networks that existed in the region during that period. During 1990, a Roman Catholic priest, Reverend Garth Michelson, wrote a letter to then Minister of Law and Order, Adrian Vlok, in which he expressed his concern that there was a police hit squad operating in the Mbava area. His concerns were raised following the killing of two UDF activists, Vusi Ngcobo and Bonawakhe Gasa, in Mbava on 6 January 1990. Vlok responded to Michelson's letter on 30 July 1990 as follows. Further to my letter dated 14 February 1990, I wish to advise you that a thorough investigation has been conducted by the SEP. Investigations instituted have proven that so-called hit squads do not exist in the SEP. This is a far-fetched figment which exists only in the imagination of certain individuals, organizations, etc., and has no foundation whatsoever. The two activists, Ngcobo and Gasa, had been shot and left to die in a cornfield in Swayimane on 6 January 1990. Witnesses said that the killing was carried out by one white and three black men wearing light blue shirts, similar to the SEP uniform. The four men had been seen arriving at the home of KwaZulu Member of Parliament, Thandoyise Psychology Ndlovu, in a yellow police van, and then proceeding from Ndlovu's home in a white Crusade with a private registration number. An informal inquest held in 1991 found that persons unknown were responsible for the eliminations. A second inquest was held in May 1995. The inquest magistrate, R.A. Stewart, found that former Special Constable Welcome Muzi Hlophe, aka Big Boy Hlophe, SEP Lance Sergeant Peter Smith, KwaZulu government driver Abraham Shoba, and a fourth unknown man were directly responsible for the eliminations. He also found that the original investigating officer, Major Joseph Van Zyl, was an accessory to the killings and recommended that an investigation be opened with a view to a possible conviction of Van Zyl. He further found that the then Secretary of the KwaZulu Legislature, Mr. Robert Mzimela, KwaZulu employee, Z. Mkhize, and then head of the KLA Protection Unit, Major Leonard Langeni, had been implicated in a cover-up operation. On the receipt of the inquest findings, the Natal Attorney General, Tim McNally, declined to prosecute any but Hlophe and Smith. He further failed to pursue any investigations. In respect of the other findings made by the inquest court, Hlophe and Smith were subsequently acquitted in the Pietermaritzburg Supreme Court. In the eSekhawini area, near Richards Bay, politically motivated violence between supporters of the ANC and the IFP erupted and escalated in 1991. The township was predominantly ANC supporting, and the IFP were losing support. J2 section of the township was considered an IFP stronghold and was regularly attacked by ANC supporters. At a certain stage, local Inkatha leaders approached the Inkatha leadership in Ulundi because they were concerned that they were losing the struggle against the ANC in the township. In 1991, as a result of these concerns, Daluxolo Luthuli summoned Gcina Brian Mkhize to a meeting in Ulundi. Mkhize was a Caprivi trainee who had joined the KZP and was posted to the eSekhawini Riot Unit in 1990. The meeting was held at KZP Captain Leonard Langeni's office in Ulundi early in 1991. At the time, Langeni was the officer commanding the then KLA Protection Unit. Others present at the meeting were Luthuli, Prince Gideon Zulu, then KwaZulu Minister of Pensions, Mr. Emar Mzimela, then Secretary of the KwaZulu Legislature, and Mr. MZ Khumalo, then Personal Assistant to Chief Buthelezi. Mkhize told the commission that he was told at this meeting that the time had arrived to use the skills acquired at Caprivi. He was instructed to take action against the ANC in eSekhawini. It was the intention of those present that unlawful means would be employed against the ANC. He was told to work directly with the mayor of eSekhawini, Mr. Bibi Biela, an IFP councillor, Ms. Lindiwe Mbuyaza, and to report directly to Langeni and Luthuli. Mkhize was told to gather reliable people to assist him. Initially, the plan was that he would join the Inkatha youth who were already attacking ANC-dominated areas. He worked with, amongst others, Mr. Nhlakanipho Mathenjwa, Lucky Mbuyazi, and Siyabonga Mbuyazi. Captain Langeni arranged for Mkhize to collect weapons for these illegal activities from Thomas Buthelezi, a Caprivi trainee based at Port Danford. The youth were unable to halt the ANC attacks on Inkatha members and reported this to Langeni and Luthuli. In the subsequent months, the composition and operations of the head squad were discussed at a number of other meetings in Ulundi and eSekhawini, and a decision was made to form a more sophisticated head squad. Those proposed were Mr. Romeo Mbuso Mbambo, a KZP member, Mr. Israel Hlongwane, who had been involved with Luthuli in the violence in Mpumalanga, and Mr. Zweli Dlamini, a Caprivi trainee who had been also involved in the violence in both Claremont and Mpumalanga, KZP Constable, Victor Buthelezi, and at least 2 other Caprivi trainees were also included in the head squad. Not all members of the head squad participated in every attack. Mkhize was the leader of the group and generally took instructions from Captain Langeni. Ms. Mbuyazi and Mayor Bibi Biela were aware of their activities and, in specific instances, provided actual support to their operations. Others who were sometimes involved included Prince Gideon Zulu from Eshowe, Chief Mataba from Nyoni, and Mr. Robert Mkhize from Empangeni. Ms. Mbuyazi arranged with the District Commissioner, Brigadier Mzimela, for Mbambo to be transferred to the detective branch, where he would be in position to cover up the crimes of IFP supporters and prevent their arrests. Robert Mkhize was already a member of the eSekhawini Internal Stability Unit, and his instructions were to ensure that patrols were kept away from where Inkatha was planning to attack. Mbambo's instructions were to ensure that cases against the hit squad members were not properly investigated by destroying evidence and making misleading entries in the police dockets. The head squad was to carry out attacks on those nights when Mbambo and Mkhize were on duty, and therefore able to carry out these instructions. Between 1991 and 1993, when Mbambo was arrested by members of the SEP, the head squad killed an unknown number of people in the eSekhawini area and was also responsible for a number of killings and attempted killings elsewhere, particularly in the Nyoni, Mandini, and Eshowe areas. Prominent Inkatha-aligned officials gave ongoing direction and logistic support, such as weapons, ammunition, vehicles, accommodation, and finances. This applied both at local level, Mr. Bibi Biela, Ms. Mbuyazi, Chief Mataba, Brigadier Mzimela, and at regional level, Captain Langeni, Taluxolo Luthuli, Prince Gideon Zulu, and Mr. MZ Khumalo. A number of hit lists were compiled at meetings with IFP leaders. Their targets were all ANC leaders, members or sympathizers. In addition to targeting particular individuals for assassination, the hit squad carried out dozens of random attacks on shebeens, bus stops, buses, and streets where ANC supporters were known to gather. On some nights, the hit squad would carry out 2 or 3 attacks on different targets. Sometimes they would drive around a section of the township known to an ANC stronghold, looking for people to attack. After every hit, Mkhize would report back to Langeni, either personally or telephonically, to keep him informed of all their operations. Ms. Sanele Cecilia Taliwe told the commission about the killing of her husband, April. On 19 April 1992, Mr. April Taliwe was a shop steward of a COSATU-affiliated trade union and was employed at the Mondi paper mill in Richards Bay. He was also an active member of the ANC. Prior to his death, he had received a number of threats. On the morning of his death, he told his wife that, if he died, she should know that Gcina Mkhize would be one of the suspects. Mkhize, Mbambo, and Dlamini all implicated themselves in the killing. According to Mkhize, Major Langeni gave the instruction for the killing, and Mayor B.B. Biela provided the vehicle. Mbambo told the commission that Luthuli, Langeni, and MZ Khumalo congratulated him and expressed their pleasure over the killing when he reported back to them. Sergeant Khumalo, a KZP member stationed at eSekhawini, was killed on 8 May 1992 by members of Gcina Mkhize's hit squad. Khumalo had been identified for assassination because he was suspected of being an ANC member and of leaking details of documents to local ANC leadership. He was killed with the approval of Captain Langeni. Sergeant Dlamini, a KZP member stationed at eSekhawini, was shot dead on 19 June 1993 by Israel Hlongwane, who was accompanied by Romeo Mbambo, Mthethwa, and Gcina Mkhize. In 1995, Mkhize, Mbambo, and Hlongwane were all found guilty in the Durban Supreme Court of killing Dlamini. According to the amnesty application of the three convicted men, Dlamini was identified for assassination by the local IFP leadership because he was supplying the Goldstone Commission with information regarding the hit squad activities in eSekhawini. He was also thought to be an ANC supporter, as he was allegedly selling ANC t-shirts. Both Mbambo and Mkhize alleged that KZP District Commissioner Brigadier Mzimela assisted in covering up their involvement in Dlamini's killing by tampering with the murder weapon. In passing judgment on the matter, Justice van der Reyden said that the court had heard evidence that could only be described as disturbing regarding the initial investigation of Dlamini's death. In his evidence to the commission, Mr. Israel Hlongwane admitted his involvement in several killings and attempted killings in the Sundumbili area during 1992 and 1993. He alleged that local IFP leaders provided him with a list of names of people they wanted him to kill. There were about 15 names on the list. Hlongwane's victims include Situtuzo Cedric Khumalo, an ANC scholar whom he shot dead on 31st October 1992, Sipho Thulani Xaba, also known as Gindinga, ANC leader at Udumo High School, Themba Mkhukhu, and Mncedisi Kalute, two scholars from the Tugela High School shot dead on 7 August 1993, Dalu Dumo Majenga, shot dead on 29 March 1993, and Kanan Shandu, a COSATU official. Mr. Bheki K. Mzimela, an induna located in Chief Mathaba's area of Nyoni, was alleged to be sympathetic towards the ANC because he supported the ANC's call for a ban on the carrying of traditional weapons. Mathaba enlisted the help of the Esekhawini-based hit squad, led by Gcina Mkhize, to kill Mzimela. 3 members of the hit squad, namely Mkhize, Zweli Dlamini, and Israel Hlongwane, together with Jerry Madanda and a man identified only as Dumisani, went to Induna Mzimela's home on the night of 23 March 1992 and shot him dead. Mkhize, Mbambo, and Dlamini were arrested by the SEP rather than the KZP in 1993 following pressure from the Goldstone Commission and Advocate Neville Melville, the police reporting officer. Brigadier Mzimela, Captain Langeni, and others attempted to prevent the arrest of Mkhize and Mbambo. In 1994, hit squad members Mbambo, Mkhize, and Dlamini were convicted of a number of crimes carried out by the squad. In mitigation of sentence, the 3 argued that the hit squad had been set up by senior IFP, KwaZulu government, and KZP members based in Ulundi and eSekhawini. The Attorney General declined to prosecute any of the suspects in the case on the grounds that there were discrepancies between the statements made to the ITU by the key witnesses and the statements they had previously made to the Goldstone Commission and the SEP. Despite the discrepancies, there was sufficient evidence, including objective evidence, to press charges against the suspects. To date, none of the Esekhawini's hit squad's hierarchy, nor any of the other operatives, have been prosecuted.